All right, folks, it's Friday, January 10th, 2025, and we're going to be talking about this XRP go viral moment that is not stopping. In fact, there are no signs of slowing down. We're going to show you that it's only picking up. And I believe that this is a good reason why we're seeing XRP hold these levels so well, despite the market being down. Some folks, some new people getting a little scared. Us OGs and veterans in the space, we kind of just sitting back, drinking our coffee, scooping up the dips. But what's been interesting to watch is how well XRP is holding. The structure is still intact. And I think that explosive move to the upside and hitting an all-time high this month is still in play. You're going to love this update, and you're actually going to get ticked off a little bit because we're going to play a clip of Gary Gensler. And this is the first interview that Gary Gensler has done since announcing his resignation. And take a listen in. This is, once again, this whole talk of picking winners and losers. You're going to see what Gary Gensler had to say. So let's get right on into this update. Everything's at my website, zachrector.com. I'm actually waiting for my guy. He's going to be bringing me some new merch collections for myself, and so I'll be able to show those off to you guys. But all the new merch is linked up down below. Quick links, zachrector.com. You guys got it. Let's roll. So here's your market right now. Bitcoin back at 93,600. A little bit of chop over the past couple days, and the market is coming back down for the overall stock market this morning. Crypto's holding out all right, with XRP just really doing really well. I actually meant to pull up this chart right here. You can see I got my channel, a couple trend lines here, and XRP still intact, still looking great. That move towards all-time high, $3 to $4 coming in here soon. So that's looking really good. But today we got the jobs numbers, which have essentially killed the Fed pivot. Stocks are crashing after the U.S. added nearly 100,000 more jobs than expected in December. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1% just after the Fed said the labor market was weakening. So why are stocks crashing? Let us explain. Well, I'll just summarize real quick. The U.S. economy added 256,000 jobs in December, or 92,000 more than expected. The other problem is that inflation is continuing to grow. So back in September, the Fed had said, we're starting to cut rates because we've won the fight against inflation. We've done our job, and unemployment is starting to tick up. The jobs market and the labor market isn't as strong as we'd like it to be. It's still a strong economy. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Don't panic. It's still a strong economy, but employment's starting to tick up. Well, now we got this jobs report that came out today with 100,000 more jobs than expected. Now, of course, we got to wait for revisions, and they'll revise this a couple times, but unless they got this one way wrong, what this is telling us is that the job market is picking back up. We already see that inflation is picking back up. So this kills any premise or promise of a Fed pivot, which, that's the thing, is never was a promise. The market was already getting ahead of our skis, thinking that we were going to get, 6 rate cuts in 2023. We were going to get 7 rate cuts in 2024, and we got far from that. And the expectation was we were going to get 4 or 5 rate cuts this year in 2025. That dropped to 2. That was just a couple weeks ago. The last Fed update that we got, that dropped the expectations down to maybe 1 or 2 rate cuts. And now Bank of America is coming out this morning, and they're saying that they don't expect any rate cuts this year. Now, this is a problem that's not going to get any better anytime soon, especially with what has now been added with this black swan event with the California wildfires. And this is very tragic. We're praying. We got community members down in that area. If you're in that area, drop an update in the comments down below. We're praying for you. Anything that we can do to help you guys down there. But this is going to be a massive mess to clean up. We're talking years to clean up this situation. This is going to be the most expensive wildfire ever in our history. $150 billion is the estimates on how much this could cost us. And this has taken us, basically, this is the largest individual fire. But what we saw, the Maui fires cost us 13 to 16 billion. And I'm surprised that, that's not even more there. But the Maui fires alone, 13 to 16 billion. The U.S. wildfire season of 2020 cost us 130 to 150 billion, but that was spread out across multiple states. The Western U.S. wildfire season of 2018 cost us $400 billion, and Hurricane Helene of last year is going to cost us 225 to 250 billion. Now, these are estimated at 135 to 150 billion. Right here, they show this is actually a video of one guy who actually started the fire. So some of these have been started by some bad actors and some criminals in those areas. We're watching that. I'm not going to get into too much on that. What I wanted to talk about, though, is just how big the scale of this is and the problems that this is causing in the insurance industry and the ripple effects that are going to spread, basically a liquidity crisis on the back end of the insurers that's going to spread to small and regional banks from this. I think that myself, along with many others, are still trying to grasp how big this actually is and how big the impact will be felt. Because when you got Florida getting wiped out by the hurricanes, other southern territories getting smashed, you got wildfire seasons that have been historically bad, unprecedented destruction. On top of this one now added to, this is a very, very bad situation here. And like I said, it impacts and it's only going to exacerbate the liquidity crisis that's already happening on the back end of our banking system. Now it's going to be spreading from the insurance agencies as well that we're already trying to get out. And the losses from this are just tremendous. So thankfully, I haven't seen any reports of loss of life yet. So that's good. I'm hoping that stays to, and remains the fact. But we're praying for the folks down there, and this is a serious problem. So it's bad out there, and this is why the stock market's going back down. But like I said, our cryptos are holding really well, especially XRP. Now, speaking of crypto, if you're ready to get ticked off, listen in. This is the first exclusive interview that Gary Gensler has done since announcing his resignation. He's going to be out of here in 9 days. So we got the countdown rolling, 9 days till Gary Gensler is gone. But I want you to take a listen in. He speaks of how he's proud of what they were able to accomplish. And note, he loves to blame Jay Clayton. He says, my predecessor is the one that really started this. We picked it up and we did a little bit more than him, but basically he's the one that started this war on crypto. He really likes to deflect to Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton started this one, and that's probably what he'd have to say too in this Ripple versus SEC case. But listen in how he has the nerve to make a statement about the crypto space is Bitcoin and then all of the rest. And he said, well, maybe you can include Ethereum in there too. So it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest. What about XRP, Mr. Gary Gensler? The asset that did take out Ethereum to become the number 2 asset before your agency launched an attack against us. And lost, by the way. And you have 5 days to file that appeal brief or the case gets dropped and we get to claim complete victory. Well, I guess you'd still get to collect $125 million as you set sail and get to pretend to be the good guy. But listen in on this clip, folks. It's absolutely disgusting.
I think that we've done some good things. Look, I came in, my predecessor, Jay Clayton, who was in this office, had also tried to address this new emerging part of finance. And as you say, it's less than 1% of our overall financial markets.
So he's always trying to downplay it. It's only 1%. It's just nothing over there, a little this. And we're only allocating 5% of our force to this. It's not too big of a deal, these crypto guys. Yeah, okay.
But it was then when Jay was trying to address it, and he brought 80 enforcement actions in this area. We've brought in about 100 in our 4 years. It was consistent. It's maybe about 5% of what we do in our law enforcement. I mean, there's 95%, in a sense, unfortunately, about other things, scammers and fraudsters and so forth. But in this field, it's rife with bad actors. And let me just split the field into two just for a minute. The public knows a lot about Bitcoin, which is, depending upon its market value on any given day, is 2/3 to 80% of the market value of crypto. And then there's everything else, or some people say Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else.
Let me take a deep breath. And maybe you guys need to take a deep breath too. Depending on where you're at, you might need to take a sip of your adult beverage, because I don't know about you, but this just ticks me off like none other. The only reason that we're in a situation where it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest is because of your agency picking winners and losers. And guess what? You lost. And strap in, because XRP is about to take out Ethereum once again. So you're going to be eating those words, Gary Gensler, and you might be doing so from a jail cell, depending on how far we dig into what you've done. So I'm going to cut him off right there. I'm not going to play the rest. He goes on to say a bunch of other nonsense. about how successful they've been. It's rife with fraud, the usual talking points that he likes to spin up. But when he said that, that's what really irked me when he made that comment. It's Bitcoin and the rest, and maybe Ethereum. And why is that? Because of you guys. And that's exactly the opposite of how this country and our capital markets is supposed to run. You've been an absolute embarrassment, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And we can't wait for 9 days. We get to see you step down in shame and hopefully never see you again. I wonder, drop in the comments down below. What's your prediction? Where's Gary Gensler going to go? Is he going to go to some white shoe law firm, get another cozy job? But the good news is Gary Gensler is gone. The U.S. House Financial Service Committee is declaring that they will create a regulatory framework for digital assets that will protect investors and consumers while keeping innovation in America. We also have the Senate Banking Committee led by Senator Tim Scott, set to establish its first ever subcommittee dedicated to crypto. And this will mirror the Financial Committee version established by Patrick McHenry in 2023. And apparently, tentatively, it has been chosen that Senator Loomis will be the chair of that subcommittee. So we'll be seeing. Hopefully she doesn't try to push too much of the Bitcoin stuff down our throats. Now listen in. Another clip of our good friend here, David Strzelecki, strikes again. Huge shout out to DAI for clipping this one up. Check it out, folks, and listen to how quickly he gets cut off when he brings up XRP. Take a listen in on this one.
Ripple is the company to be paying attention to. I believe that the United States will be looking at this as a swift dollar way of transacting and doing a lot of different things. Okay. So XRP is the ticker on that for people that are interested.
Well, okay, we're going to have to leave it there because there are questions about XRP, especially if you compare it to, say, Bitcoin. But we have to leave it there because we really are out of time.
Hey, did you see David's face when she says that? He says, yeah, there are questions. I'm ready to answer them. We're all ready to answer them. When you get past the facade that this whole space is only Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest is fraud, come sit down, come have a real conversation. Let's talk about making America the leader in this space. And it's not going to be done through Ethereum, and it's not going to be done through Bitcoin. It will be done through XRP. And we're about to take out Ethereum. And if you want your questions answered, why don't you not cut us off and give us the opportunity to talk about this? I got to give a huge shout out to David. He's making his rounds, CEO of Sound Planning Group out of Seattle, Fox Business. We saw him on another show. I think this one's on some Schwab show. He's making the rounds over there in New York right now, and we absolutely love to see it. And notice how quick they are to cut him off. Oh, there's some questions there. Yeah, because you guys have been perpetuating lies and misinformation about XRP, filing lawsuits against the SEC with your goons at the SEC. So yeah, let us answer those questions. Now next, I'm going to play a clip from the AJ show. I'm not going to say the name. I'm not even going to show the visuals. I'm just going to play it so you guys can listen in, because I know that he's kind of a troublemaker in YouTube land, right? So I'm not even going to show it. I'm just going to play, but listen in. This is on the AJ show, I think yesterday. Yeah. The show is called Trump's Economic Plan is the Only Hope for America Has to Stop Collapse. And he's got a precious metals dealer with him on the show. And this guy goes on to talk about not just Bitcoin, but he starts to go into XRP, and at least AJ gives him an opportunity to talk about it. Listen in on this one. God, I'm not going to show you. Here you go.
So, for example, JP Morgan Chase, they are now using XRP for mortgage and credit card payments. XRP, is a decentralized blockchain ledger for instantaneous payments that are cheap and they're quick. So, for example, you send a bank wire right now, it goes through the SWIFT system, it costs you like $40 and it's not instantaneous. Well, through these kind of like XRP, for example, it's immediate and it's cheap and it's decentralized. It's not part of a centralized CBDC. American Express now using XRP for payment processing. Bank of America using XRP for internal payments. We've got all of these articles so JP Morgan Chase accepting it for retail payments and for mortgage payments. American Express using it for global payments. We're going to watch a clip of a CEO confirming on Fox Business that Bank of America is now conducting 100% of its internal transactions using XRP. The Federal Reserve, Alex, just recently said...
Yeah, so the dam's breaking. I mean, here's the big announcement. Let's come back with this. So,
and I got to say that, I don't listen to AJ anymore. I used to back in the day, but it is still kind of enjoyable to me to just appreciate from a content creator's perspective what he's done, and just he still is entertaining to me. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the most entertaining in the space. But anyways, the point being, at least he allowed this guy to talk about XRP, and he was referring back to old news, American Express. Then he mentioned the Bank of America and the CEO. That's David Strzelecki, the one that we just shared with you guys. And so this is why I've been calling this the XRP go viral moment. And as you guys are seeing, this thing is not stopping. It is not even slowing down. It is picking up. The momentum and the gravitational force behind what's happening on XRP right now. Everybody's coming in. We're getting exposure on mainstream media, other alternative news sources. It's absolutely going viral. And meanwhile, Gary Gensler on his way out, head down in shame. He's going to be leaving in disgrace. And the best that he can do is collect that $125 million from Ripple, not file the appeal, and head off into the sunset. And maybe he can avoid being put where he really deserves to be put. I'll just leave it at that. Hey, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate what we're doing, you guys know what to do. ZachRector.com. God bless. We'll see ya. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.